Hello there. Today I'd like to share a shave with you. I'll be using Mike's Naturals Hungarian Lavender. It's a sample that was given to me by Clint Alsmus on the Shave Nook forum. I'll also be using my Semogue 1460 brush and my Genco Grant 9/16 straight with Tasmanian Blackwood scale. So this is one of my favorite razors. It's got a really fine grind, and it just shaves beautifully. So let's go ahead and get started here. Now I have to say, I've tried to lather this shaving soap 3 times, and I have gotten really poor lather the first 2 times. The last lather that I got from this, I got a good shave out of it. That had more to do with my razor than the lather. The lather was still thin. It faded quickly, all kind of stuff. So I'm gonna give it another go and see if I can come up with something better this time. One note that I would make about that is I have only been wet shaving since March of this year. What is it now? September. So 6 months that I've been shaving in this way. So while I have lathered quite a few soaps, and I believe I have my technique down and all that, I also understand that there is a part of wet shaving with soaps and creams. Every one is different, and every one of them can present different challenges to lather. So I'm not gonna blame the soap unless if this shave ends up being bad, then you won't even see it. But I won't use Mike's again because I won't be able to make it lather. And in my opinion, the soap will be that it's not a good soap. But this lather is looking rather lovely. So I'm thinking it's possible perhaps I didn't load the puck as much as I thought that I did, or load the brush rather, as much as I thought that I did the last few times. So I will say that I'm a really big fan of the lavender scent. I think lavender is probably the most wonderful scent I've ever smelled in my life, bar none. Love lavender. I don't know if Clint knows that or not. It hasn't been a secret. Now that's a lovely lather. It hasn't been a secret that I've kept, but I don't know that I've made a big deal out of it, or how many of my videos he's watched, or anything like that. But I really appreciate the sample. I've wanted to try Mike's for a long time, and just never have. And so now that's a lovely lather right there. So I have to say that it was more than likely a failure of technique. It took me a little bit to get a grasp on what this soap needed. What it needs is water, a lot of it. So that worked out really well. Now I tried. Well, I didn't try. I happened on it by accident, but the other day I was trying to make a video with this soap, which I never posted because the lather didn't come out right. Anyway, and ended up quite by accident doing my first 2 passes with the grain. And despite having problems with the lather itself, I got one of the closest shaves that I've done in a long time. So I'm going to repeat that this time around, and for the next week or so, and just see my beard does an awful lot of funky things. For instance, across the grain on most of my face, my beard runs like this. So across the grain for me would be a straight up pass. So the traditional with the grain, and actually with the grain is going to end up being like that. So I'm actually, if I stop and think about it, I'm actually doing 3 across the grain passes. If I go 2 passes straight down and 1 up, that's what I'm doing. Maybe that's why, and maybe that's what my face needs. But like right now, that's a really close shave just with that first pass. I didn't have as much growth because I got such a close shave yesterday. So that factors into it as well. But now, the scent of this soap is outstanding. Love the lavender scent. And there's nothing about that lather that isn't to love. That's a beautiful lather. And I'm glad that I stuck with it. You know, a lot of times, patience is not always my virtue. And I came really close after trying to lather this soap 3 times to saying, you know what, forget it. Mike's is just not for me. I don't know what everybody else sees in it, but it's not for me. And to be honest with you, the slickness is not as good as I'm used to. There's a slickness there, but it's not on the same level as something like Spike or some of the other soaps that I've used. Spike has got a wonderful slickness to it. The slickness of this soap is okay, but it's not on a par with a lot of other soaps that I've used. But the cushion is wonderful. The soap feels wonderful when you put it on your face. I've noticed with some soaps, Razor Rock is like that. I've noticed with some soaps there is such a smooth, pillowy, kind of fluffy almost feel when you paint lather on your face with it. That just feels absolutely wonderful. And this lather has that in abundance. But now, contrary to the last 3 times that I've used this soap, this lather is nice and stable. It's nice and wet. And to be quite honest, I was becoming incredibly frustrated with this soap trying to lather it. Like I said, I'm going to chalk that up to me and learning this lather. As it stands right now, I'm very, very glad that I tried this soap again. It's wonderful. And those 2 with the grain passes are a lot smoother than a with the grain and what would have been against the grain pass this way. A lot smoother than my normal routine. I like that. But I mean, everything that I've read about this soap, about how, well, it's liked, in some circles loved, I'm seeing that now. And it's just, the lather is superb. Like I say, the only thing to me, it is lacking a bit of slickness. The slickness is there, it's just not as much. As a straight razor shaver, slickness is something that, I shave with all different kinds of razors, but I really consider myself a straight razor shaver. That is my favorite way of shaving. There is just nothing like this, but I like variety, and I like the old vintage razors, the DEs, and that's what I started on when I was 13, 14 years old. And I love shaving with them as well. One of the things I like about them is the quality of the build and the nostalgia, the memory from when I was younger and first beginning shaving of using those razors. But the straight razor, there's a simplicity and a cleanness about the shave with one of these. There is no razor I've ever had against my face that feels as good as a straight razor. Just there's just not. So I consider myself a straight razor shaver. If that's number one for me. And as someone who shaves with a straight, for me anyway, slickness is a priority in the soap that I use. But it's not the only priority. There's adequate, and then there's inadequate, and then there's just incredible, And a soap doesn't have to have incredible slickness to do really well as a straight razor soap. It just has to be adequate to the job. And cushion, I think, is almost as important. And this soap has that in spades. So, wonderfully smooth. However, I'm going to go over my chin for whatever reason. There's a bit of stubble left. Gone. Oh, beautiful. So yeah, I think the My trouble areas are like right here. Sometimes a bit here. And I'm gonna, that's almost completely smooth, but I could hit that one more time. Lovely. Just touch up a bit. That was a lovely shade. The scent of this soap, the lavender scent of this soap is excellent. I appreciate the sample, Clint. That's a lovely soap. And I've still got, I mean, look, I've still got like 2 passes, maybe 3 left in that bowl. So plenty of lather, plenty creamy, plenty of cushion, decent slickness. The face feel is pretty doggone good. And I'm going to pair it with this right here. I found that lavender scents. This goes really well. I thought there was lavender in this soap, but when I read the description in like scent, on scent sites and stuff like that, there's no mention of lavender in Old Spice, but I can smell something in the Old Spice that smells of lavender. I can smell the geranium in it, but it just blends well with a lavender base. It's wonderful for that. I think it blends well with a lot of floral components. But anyway, that's the shave. I can recommend Mike's soaps. You may have a bit of difficulty lathering it at first. You may not. What I did was I used a little bit wetter brush than what I normally did, and I got a wonderful lather out of this soap, on par with a ton of different more expensive products. And it's a good, the scent is excellent. So if you've not tried Mike's, give them a try. And yeah, that's my shave. God bless you. Hope to see you on the forums and the wet shave communities. I'll see you again the next time around. Later.